Let me see.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thursday night stories and testimonials. I am so excited to see everybody on June 13th. I can't believe it's the middle of June already. Unbelievable. But Eric and I are here back with you. Those of you who do not know me, my name is Laura Balzer. I have been a part of this incredible health technology company, LifeWave, for 3 years. And Eric and I have just started really doing these together. So I'm going to let Eric introduce himself.
Thanks, Laura. This is super fun. She was just saying earlier before a lot of you came on that we don't talk before this. We don't plan it. We just have our, 5-minute chat before, and here we are, and just amazing synergistic things happen. It's incredible. My name is Eric Beal. I'm a presidential director with LifeWave, and we're really excited to share tonight with you. This is going to be a great call. The first person we're going to interview is a longtime friend of mine, and we were just chatting earlier for a couple minutes. It's 1986, Jason.
Something like that.
Yeah, we go way back, and so Jason's going to share. We've known each other a very long time. He's a really great friend of mine. We got a lot of history together, and so I'm going to have Jason. Jason, you're in Kansas City, right? Still?
Yeah.
So go ahead and just share with us.
You know what, Eric? Before we get started, let me read the disclaimer real quick.
Oh, thanks.
Yep. So everyone, we do want to take the time to remind you that all the information that you're going to hear this evening is for educational purposes only. We are certainly not here to cure, diagnose, or treat anyone. And we want to remember that even though we have many practitioners and doctors a part of our teams, we or they are not your doctor. So please make sure that if you have questions that you want to take back to your practitioners, please do so. We always want you to do that. And like always, if you're nursing or pregnant, we want you to check with your doctors as well. David is going to post in the chat our full disclaimer, but I really always like to give you a brief synopsis of that before we start. So with that said, Eric, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Laura. So Jason, tell us, how you found the patches, what your experience was, when you started, and you got an incredible story. We were chatting earlier today, and I'd forgotten all the things that had happened. So yeah, go ahead and share with us what happened.
I guess I was looking before because I was injured. I had an accident with my back, and I really couldn't do a lot of anything. And I mean, there's multiple things I could say was the issues with the back, but basically, I mean, I was in a lawsuit for 4 years with a very big company that's wears brown, has brown trucks, stuff like that. And I was begging. I was begging God as I need something. I need a miracle. I was looking at everything. I was looking at stem cells. I was looking at all the stuff and all the problems with stem cells. But I'm a holistic kind of person, and there's got to be something. There's got to be something. And I was just crying out to, I mean, I will say a higher being, saying, please, something help. And there's this really tall guy that I know that stumbled upon something. He goes, man, you got to check this out. And so I did, and I got it, and it sat there in my house for about a month and a half. And I guess about around October of not last year, the year before, so it's been a little over a year and maybe a half that I've been on the products. I took it and immediately I felt energy, and like, well, this is all right. We'll see. I know stem cell stuff takes a long time, so we'll see. And I started with the 39 and the Eon, and then I dove in and tried to listen to everything that David said. I mean, I listened to all of his podcasts and all this other stuff, and he said those two products are amazing and they can really help. And shortly after that, so I was already injured. I was playing catch with the kids, and I injured my shoulder. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, I couldn't do this. Like, no way I could reach out like that or to the side. I'd just be doubled over in pain. I was feeling no pain after about 3 months in my back, and I had been taking just about everything. No pain. I'm not saying I was healed. I'm saying I had no pain. and my range of motion increased. Like since I used to play baseball, semi-pro, I hadn't had that flexibility since then. And so, I mean, and I wasn't doing anything other. I just tried patches. I mean, I was already trying to eat healthy and trying to do things, but just feeling better. And they told me in court that I would always have pain. It's just how could I deal with it? And I mean, I still have to do things. I sit on a cushion. I do things like that. I'm not saying I'm 100% healed, but I have no pain. I mean, that's just I never thought I would have that in life. No pain. So that I added to 49, and I started putting it on my shoulder, listening to David have the 39, Eon, and 49, and it took about a year and 3 months, and I was tried to throw with my kids after I've not been able to throw, not being able to lift anything, not hold anything, do anything, and we just started kind of tossing and scoot back a little bit, tossing, scoot back a little bit more, tossing. Pretty soon I was throwing a football the whole length of a field.
All right, Mahomes. Wow.
That's amazing. So I'm pitching to my kids again. All the stuff I used to do before, they told me I had to have reconstructive surgery. I didn't have surgery. I had a 39, an Eon, and a 49. I later added Alavita, but that had nothing to do with those. But I mean, that's just a couple things. I mean, there's more, but that's amazing. And then, yeah, through COVID, I looked like I was about 80. Now people say I look younger than I do. But so that's just some good things. I mean, I can say a lot more, but just having no pain and being able to use my arm again and play with the kids again, play basketball with both my back and my shoulder. I mean, come on. I mean, people go to the doctors and have surgeries and do all this other stuff. Nothing like that. So,
Incredible.
I mean,
Incredible.
yeah.
And you were sharing earlier about something that happened with, well, we talked about some other things besides the pain that you were dealing with, but you tell me a little bit about what you were sharing about your father, just real briefly.
So this was really, really, really crazy. So I started my dad on my stuff. He shouldn't be alive, quite honestly. He shouldn't be alive. And looking at his medical reports and stuff, but he is. And so I got him to start taking the 39 and the Eon. That's what we start with. And he's taking it, and then I could see differences and multiple things. But the craziest story is he got a boat. He's 78. He'll be 78. He's 77. So he got a boat, and he's trying to do things on his own instead of asking me for help. And he fell on his shoulder and smashed his femur into into the socket, shattered them both. I mean, he's in lots of pain. We go to the doctor. We go to the emergency room, and they're looking all around, and they say, well, we'll have to X-ray, but I mean, we don't see any damage over here. And then they call a orthopedic, and they want him to come in the next day. They said it's an emergency. Could come in the next day. This was a night, and they ended up sending him home. They had the X-rays that showed the crack. They showed that it was smashed up into the shoulder socket. And then he goes the next day to the orthopedic, and the orthopedic said, "I'm looking at these X-rays, and I'm looking at you. I've never seen this in my life." And we're like, what do you mean? He said, "You should be black and blue from the base of your head down to your elbow. You should be black and blue."
Incredible.
He said, "I've never seen it." He had zero bruising, none.
Incredible.
The doctor couldn't believe it. The doctor couldn't believe it. You completely have an emergency situation with your shoulder, and you have no bruising. How do you explain that? You can't.
You can't. Jason,
That's
I'm so, it's just incredible. We're just so incredibly blessed. you know, we shared this together a year and a half ago, and I just watch you literally. I hadn't seen you in 6 or 7 months, and we hopped on the Zoom, and I'm like, Jason, you look 2 years younger than the last time I saw you 6 months ago. It's just wild. So
Man.
yeah, thanks, Jason. That's incredible. So you weren't a one patch wonder, right? You had some pain relief, but it took time for these to kick in.
I'd say the first thing was energy. After the COVID stuff, I didn't get COVID personally, but working, 18-hour days and stuff. And personally, the energy was the first thing. And I mean, I was my go-to to try to get through the day was that. But so not a one patch wonder. But man, I'm telling you, the longer you're on it, the better you feel, the better you see differences. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. We're definitely going to have you back in 6 or 8 months, but that's just incredible.
That's
Incredible.
amazing.
So I'm gonna pass it back. Thanks again, Jason. I'm gonna pass it back to Laura. Laura, we've seen that before with zero bruising, right? You've heard that story?
Yes, we have, and I tell you, I could really relate when he was talking about that. I mean, my surgeon was amazed. Like, they can't answer, they don't get,
No.
You're lost for words, but we're really excited about our next story, our next testimonial. And Jeremy, I'm going to find you and ask you to unmute and let me know when you get that.
There I am.
There you are, sir.
How are you?
Jeremy, it's really funny because Eric and I came on together, and I told him that you were coming on, and he just discovered who you are yesterday. So he's very excited to hear your testimony. So I'm sure, as everybody else will be. So Jeremy, introduce yourself. Give us an idea, or I like to say a snapshot of what life looked like prior to you being introduced to the technology. When did you start? How are things now? Like, give us the lowdown.
All right. I'm Jeremy Osteen. I'm from Waxahachie, Texas. I'm 54 years old. I'm retired. Well, I say I was retired. I kind of worked myself into a job a couple of weeks ago, but anyhow, I'm still semi-retired. I was a deputy sheriff for 31 years here in the county I live in, Ellis County, Texas. And I had a really, really good career in law enforcement up until about the last 2 years. And I retired in 2020, basically due to my health, and had a very bad case of autonomic neuropathy. And any of you people that are here visiting for your first time or have any type of neuropathy and you're dealing with pain, you know what I'm talking about when it's excruciating pain. I would go to bed at nighttime and I'd pray to Jesus Christ that I wouldn't wake up tomorrow morning. I hurt so bad. And I did that for almost a year. And anyway, he never would take me. But my wife was praying as well that something would come along that would help me with my pain. So anyway, we've been to every kind of doctor there is, my regular physician, neurologist, diabetes doctors. I think that's what led up to my neuropathies. I have type 2 diabetes, and it was not managed or under control for quite some time. And anyway, things just got worse and worse. And one Sunday afternoon, a friend of mine named Kathy Stevenson, she's a senior director in this company. She called me and said, J.O., I might have something for you that can help you with your pain. She said, my husband and I are wearing some stem cell patches, and they seem to be working pretty well for Terry. And just wanted to share it with you. So I told her, I said, Kathy, I said, I'm really not interested. I said, I've tried every kind of lotion, potion, pill there is on the market. And I said, the last doctor I went to was my chiropractor. I wrote him a $5,000 check, and he sent me home with 3 little electrical devices similar to a TENS unit. And I did that for about 9 months, and I felt like I was torturing myself every night. And that was each one of those units. It was a 45-minute session that I had to go through. So that was an hour and a half that I lost out of every day of my life. And anyhow, I quit doing that. And I told her, I said, well, she asked me, she said, what do you have to lose? And I said, really nothing other than a couple more $100. I said, so I guess let's sign me up and give me some patches. Let's see what they do. So, I mean, she held it little Band-Aid up, no bigger than a quarter. And I asked her, what's a Band-Aid going to do for me? I mean, kind of comical that she said, well, this could probably help you. So lo and behold, we got our patches in about 4 or 5 days later. And I called her up, said, Kathy, I got my patches. What I do with them? Where do I wear them? And she went over the 12 on, 12 off guideline, told me how to wear them, and I put them on. I started out with X39, Eon, Carnosine, and I wore Ice Wave at nighttime for my pain. And 9 days later, I was sitting on the couch. And normally when I'm sitting on the couch, I've got my shoes on, some sort of shoe on, because if I take them off, my feet just went to really, really hurting. It was like if I had something around them, some sort of tension on them, that the pain wasn't as bad. So that night in particular, my wife, she said, why are you not beating your feet together tonight? And I said, my feet are not hurting. I don't have any pain. And she's like, you're kidding me, right? And I'm like, no. I said, I think these patches have killed my pain. But I don't have pain in my feet. So this went on for about 3 nights. No pain. I'd get up in the morning, my feet hit the floor. Normally that was when everything started hurting, your feet hit the floor and you're like, oh, what's going to hurt today? Well, all that went away. I have nothing to contribute it to other than the patches I was wearing. I didn't change anything different. I didn't change any eating habits. I didn't change any medications. I was on 4 pain pills.
Are you on any of those now, Jeremy?
I'm on 1 pain pill. I went to my neurologist 2 months ago, and I had weaned myself off of a couple of those medicines without him knowing it, and I didn't feel that I needed them because I wasn't hurting. And that was my whole goal when I started this, is to get off my traditional medicines because I don't like taking them. I was taking about 7 or 8 different pills for neuropathy and my diabetes. So he, with his assistance and blessing, we're slowly weaning myself off of this last pain pill that I'm on.
Awesome.
I went to my diabetes doctor. Well, actually, my primary care doctor. He's the one that prescribed my diabetes medicine, and I handed him a pamphlet with all the sheet with all the patches on it, and the start x39now.com, and I asked him to review that, study it, go look at the clinical trials and studies and the patents that David has, and for him to maybe give just his professional opinion as to what he thought about the patches. I've yet to hear from him on that, but I go back for another visit here in a few weeks, and I'm really hoping to get a story from him as to what he thinks, because some doctors,
you never know. I want to point out, because I remember the first time I heard your story, I think pain is very debilitating, and it can really take you off your game, no matter where it is, what it is. And I think so many people suffer with pain. But I remember you telling me that, and we all know how light a sheet is. Like people who just sleep under a sheet, I don't know how they do that. I need a lot of weight. Okay. You couldn't even stand a sheet on
No.
your feet. And
No.
you're like this big, like you are a cop. You're this big burly guy who we probably don't want to meet in an alley. And here you are laying in bed and you can't even take a sheet on your feet.
I
because
would
of the pain.
literally, I would literally lay in my bed and you would think that I was a child crying.
Yeah.
It hurt so bad, the
Wow.
pain. It felt like somebody was just like whipping me with, like, if you ever been stung by bull needles. I mean, it just,
It's
it's very,
unbelievable.
very, very painful. And I mean, nobody should live with pain like that.
No.
And
No.
for these patches to make it go away for me personally in 9 days, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
I would
that is
I would have never believed it. I was so negative the night Kathy called me. I mean, I was just very, very skeptic.
yeah.
I mean, I had no belief in it at all. And now I'll wear these patches.
And how many months has it been, Jeremy? How long have you been patching?
I started in August last year, so
Okay.
10 months.
10
10
months.
months.
I love
Yeah.
that. And Eric's going to get in that a little bit, but Jeremy, thank you. I know I snatched you up at the last minute. Your wife volunteered your services, but everybody loves to hear your story because I think and also Jason's. I just think it touches people because unlike you guys, you get to the point where you feel like you've tried everything.
Yeah.
And there's no way out. And we will have both of you back, definitely, because things will continue to change and get better. And we want to hear about what your doctor says, right?
Yes.
When you go back. So you have to come back and share that with us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Eric, I love what Jeremy said. Kathy gave him a patch about the size of a quarter. It was a Band-Aid. And what is that going to do for me? So why don't you share how it's doing this for everybody?
That's beyond incredible. 9 days, just absolutely mind blowing. So yeah, Laura, people are wondering, how does something the size, looks like a Band-Aid, the size of a quarter, do what you just heard on this call? And what this is the world's first non-transdermal, meaning nothing passes into the skin, non-invasive, no needles, drug-free, safe. It's the world's first wearable light technology. People say light. What do you mean? This little patch is 2 polymer shells, 2 little shells. There's a little sticker on the back. They're completely hermetically sealed. Not only does nothing, this isn't like the nicotine patches you hear about or the weight loss patches where there's chemical compounds. There's no chemical compounds in this. There's nothing on the surface. It doesn't even have to touch your body. It works from your body. You can literally have it on the outside of your clothing. It's still going to work. You could have an alpaca sweater on, an inch thick. It's still going to work. It's your body's light that's powering this. So what's in it? It's low level. Your body puts off. We're essentially completely light. So if you look through night vision goggles and you're looking at somebody and they have colors coming off, that's their low level infrared light. And when that light hits this patch, the compounds that are in this are water, oxygen, salt and sugar, tiny molecular crystals of salt and sugar, and 1 organic amino acid. And when those are put together in a compound and it's put in that little gauze, it's double patented and it forms a lattice. Now, for me, when I see lattice, I see grandma's little white lattice, right? It's a lattice of crystals at the molecular level that acts like a reflector, and your light hits it, bounces back in at a different frequency, and activates a couple of massively amazing things. One is a peptide. One is the master cell that created you in the womb. If you think you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that's the cell that turned into every cell that became you. Right? And every repair you had done your entire life was done with this particular master cell. This is not a master cell therapy. There's no master cells in this. Your body does its own repair and balancing with this technology. The Navy SEALs have had access to this for 20 years. This discovery hit, Laura will tell you more, a few years ago. Wear it 12 hours on, wear it 12 hours off, drink plenty of water. It's very, very simple enough. It's extremely simple, as complicated as a Band-Aid, but this is highly advanced technology, and the doctors may not know because they don't deal in light therapy typically, right? So I hope that explains. I'm going to let Laura. Laura, did I miss anything in that explanation?
No, I think that's beautiful. I love the way you explained it. You know, I think so many people don't realize that we're low level infrared light or heat. It's just something that we don't reference or think of. And I love that, you know, this technology, David Schmidt, our CEO, our founder, the scientist behind this technology, was able to discover how to use the body as that energy source. To activate those master cells and raise that peptide in our body, Eric. And it's pretty wondrous. And I know for a lot of people, you know, analogy purposes only, right? You know, you guys, for our guest here, first time hearing this, I mean, you think about that. You go outside in the sun hits your skin. And when that light beam of light hits the skin, it instructs your body to make vitamin D. We're all living creatures. And we know what happens to plants when the light hits it, and so on and so forth. And the way you described that, Eric, was really just right on, spot on, using that body as an energy source. And David Schmidt, being the man that he is, a visionary, but he is our scientist behind this technology, everyone. And people in the world of science love to refer to this man as the modern day Nikola Tesla. And those of you who have maybe done research about Nikola Tesla and light and frequency, I implore you to go look it up because it's very fascinating. I also ask you to go to a website that you can see some of these things Eric was talking about, which is startx39now.com. You'll be able to see the over 90 clinical studies that not only David has put his eyes on, but practitioners and physicians and doctors around the globe, because David knows the importance of many eyes on something, not just one set of eyes. And then to talk about Eric, to talk about the man's patents. Oh my gosh, what man has 150 personal patents? But it's amazing. But when we talk about this product in particular, 70 of those patents, everyone, is specifically in regenerative medicine only. So when you go to this website, startx39now.com, you'll be able to see all those clinical studies and those patents. But I want you to know, you're probably saying, well, why am I just hearing of this? Like Eric said, you know what, you guys, you might be hearing about X39, this master cell rejuvenation patch, but I want you to know that we are not a new company. We are a 20-year-old company. We are celebrating our 20th year, November 10th. And it's just been absolutely mind-boggling for us in the field to see what this technology is doing for so many people around the globe, and the vision that David Schmidt has. But where it began 20 years ago was with the Navy SEALs, like Eric mentioned. He was doing a project with the Defense Department that was about many sub-projects involving the Navy SEALs. And the SEALs weren't needing to be all amped up on caffeine and amphetamines and God knows what else when they were on mission. They needed mental clarity. They needed stamina. They needed alertness and endurance. And David Schmidt went to work at that time and devised the first patch technology that started all of this over the last 20 years. And the name of that patch was the Energy Enhancer. And so you can dig into that a little bit. It's something that I wear every day. I don't know if Eric wears Energy Enhancer every day, but I love that patch and all the ones that came up after it. So you guys, I want to thank you. I know Eric thanks you for joining us this evening. And of course, for Jason and Jeremy to be here and be transparent and share their stories. We're very, very grateful. But I do encourage you to get back to the person that invited you. You heard what these gentlemen had going on. Get back with that person. Let them know what you've got going on and let them customize a nice pack that's going to suit your needs, bring you great value, and get you started, because we would love nothing better to have you come on, if you so choose, and share your story and your testimony, because stories let people know that they have answers, and it gives people hope. And so we hope that you have found that with us this evening. And Eric, I love being with you, and I thank you for joining me always.
You do as well, Laura. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yep,
amazing.
yep, yep.
What a
So you
blessing.
guys have an amazing evening. We will be back here on Monday night. Come bring your family and friends and hear more testimonials on this incredible technology. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.